Hi Bellflowers, Violet here, and welcome back to another creative keychain video. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make this tornado keychain. Now I realize I do have a tutorial for the zebra tornado, which is a variation of this stitch, but I've never actually done a tutorial on the tornado itself. So if you are new here and you're just stumbling upon this video, welcome. My name is Violet. I am a huge keychain nerd. I've been doing these things since forever, probably longer. I've been making lanyards longer than I've not been making lanyards at this point in my life. And I just love sharing them all with you and making fun projects and showing you how to do this. So if that sounds like something you are interested in and you want to join this fun community of crafters, please join us. So hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, leave a comment of what you'd like to see next. But for now, I'm going to be showing you how to make this tornado gimp keychain. So yeah, let's get into it.
I make keychains every day. Ba-dum. Okay, jumping right into this. To make the tornado keychain, you'll need 4 pieces of gimp or Rex lace, plastic string, however you know this stuff as. You can get it on Amazon, or you can find it online at Pepperell Braiding Company or Walmart or Hobby Lobby. Any of those places are good. But you'll need 4 pieces of gimp or Rex lace, and these can be any colors that you want. I'm using 4 strands that are about 50 inches long, and I also have a key ring here. Now keep in mind, if you do less than 50 inches, your keychain will be shorter. If you do more than that, it'll be definitely longer. So, you know, if however big you want it, go for it. But the first step is we're going to slide our key ring onto all 4 strands. And then I have both ends of these strings, and I'm just going to pass all the ends to one hand and use my other hand to slide that key ring down to the center of all of these strings. So I'll move that over here, like so, and you can see that now I'm working kind of from the middle of all of these strings. So it should be even now on both sides. So on the left here, it's the same length as the right. And I'm just working right here. Now you'll see that this keyring is kind of floating here, and what we're going to need to do is arrange our strings to make kind of like an X, basically. So I'll gather just 2 of these strings, the red and the blue, and I'm just going to turn them so that they're passing on top of the other 2 strings, and they are going kind of up and down, and the other 2 strings are just going left and right. Now if I lift up my thumb really quickly, you can see that I have kind of this X or this T, whatever letter you want to call this little cross, and then I have the key ring passing over top of it. Then from here, I'm going to use the pointer finger and the thumb from my non-dominant hand, which is my left, to pinch that point, that midpoint where everything's kind of crossing over each other, just so that nothing slides out of place and everything is right where I want it. Because from here, I'm going to work from left to right for the loops, and then I'll work from top to down for the side strings. So I'm going to start with this top left blue, and I'm going to fold it down to the bottom left over here, just straight across my thumb, going right over top to make a little loop. And with the other side of that blue strand, I'll fold it up, going the opposite direction. I'll fold this one up and in between that blue and the red, just right there. And then I'm going to move on to the red, and I'll do the same thing. So bring this red down in between the 2 strings, bottom left, and then for this last little red loop, we're going to, if these get smushed together, it's okay, but we're going to fold this last one up to the top right. So you'll notice I worked from left to right. Now you can see it's kind of what my loops are looking like underneath that. So you make sure everything's passing the right way. From left to right, this blue came down, the next blue went up, red went down, and this red went up. So left to right. And then next, starting from the top down, we're going to start with the green, because the green is kind of on top. So we need to pass this green over and under these loops here. So I'll gather the green from the right, and I'm going to go over the first red, closest to it, underneath the next one. So we'll go over and under this one, then over the next blue and underneath the last one. So over, under, and I'll pull this one through. But another thing to keep in mind is that we always alternate sides when we work. So we're still working from the top down, so I need to grab that other side of the green and do the same thing. Same. Over, under, over, and under. So over the first blue closest to it, underneath the second one, and then I need to go over the next red, and then underneath that last red. So over, under, under. And now we'll go to the next row of strings, which is this purple, and same thing, over and under. And notice that one just kind of slipped right through just because of where the strings were at. But this last one, it's always a struggle bus with the last string, because you kind of have to open everything up, make sure you can see your loops properly, make sure you're getting under the right one. And that's probably the most challenging part of this stitch, is not just starting it, but also when you're doing the stitches from here on out, you'll just have to open everything up and make sure you can access your loops properly. Otherwise, it'll get all tangled and you're going to be like, what happened? But really, just keep track of your loops. So I need to go over the first blue, underneath the second, and then I'll do the same thing with the reds, over the next red, and underneath the last one. So you see, I need to just kind of open it up, make sure I know which one I'm passing over, and then over and under, and then we'll pull this one through. And make sure you're not passing under the green on accident or anything. But from here, we can pull it all tightly together. So I like to use my pointer and thumb to pull the loop strings, so the blues and the red, and I use the rest of my hand to pull the green and purple. I just kind of alternate, so I'll just take turns pulling the blue and reds, then I'll pull the green and purples, and kind of make this as flat as you can. They are flat plastic lacing, so you want it to be nice and flat, kind of even, and should look kind of like a square once you're done pulling it all together. If it's a little bit more rectangular because of the strings that you use, that's okay too, but aiming for a square here. Okay, good stuff. So once that's all nice and flat, the next step is to just adjust your strings really quickly. Make sure that you don't have an overly excited hand like I do. Every once in a while, my one hand will just like pull one side super hard and then my strings will be uneven. So I'm just going to check both sides, and you'll see that one side of this blue is a little bit longer. So I'm just going to kind of pull out on the slack a little bit, just on the other side of that blue. I'm just going to try to move that slack to the other side, just so that my strings can really be even. Because even though we even them out at the beginning, once you start pulling, sometimes, there it goes, that's a little bit better. But sometimes once you start pulling, then it like I said, if you have an overly excited hand or a hand with a mind of its own, then your strings might be a little more uneven. But my reds were good. We'll check the purple. I have one purple, it's a little bit long, so I'm just going to again kind of loosen up the slack, try to just pull it to the other side. And we'll check again. Definitely happier with that. And then we'll check the greens, and those are fine, so we're good to go. Now, again, kind of like what I said, I like to work from left to right. So when I'm making my loops, I always make a loop from left to right. And then when I'm working from the horizontal position, I go from top down. Now, from here, I'm going to be showing you how to do the actual tornado twisty stitch. And if you are interested and you want to do something a little bit more complicated after you master this one, I highly recommend checking out the zebra stitch tutorial, which is where you kind of get more of a white and black stripe effect along the body of your keychain, which kind of adds a little pizzazz. It's really fun, but it has a little bit of a different start. But if you feel good about the tornado stitch after this, I definitely recommend you go try that one next. Now, from here, like I said, we're going to work from left to right and then top to down. And it doesn't matter how you hold the lanyard. You can hold it like this, or you can turn it 90 degrees and start with the red strand. It's totally up to you. But keep in mind that if we were to do a straight stitch, we would be folding our strands straight across. Just like that. Just going all the way straight across. And that would give us a giant like brick stitch. But we're not doing that right now because we want this to twist, which means that we need to do a diagonal stitch, which is going to add a little bit more tension to the lanyard and get it to twist. So as I mentioned, we'll start with the top left green, and then we'll be alternating. So we'll fold this top green down to the bottom left, kind of in between that blue string and the green. And then this other side of the green, because remember we alternate, we'll fold up in between the green and the purple. Then for this purple, fold it down in between the green and the purple on bottom. And then for this purple, we'll fold this one up to the top right. And now you'll see that I have 4 loops and they are all alternating directions. Then working from the top down, gather this red string here, and we'll go over the first purple, underneath the second, over the green, under the last green. So over, under, and we'll pull this one through. Just like that. Then I'll alternate sides, gather the red on the other side, pass over the first green, underneath the second, over the first purple, underneath the last purple. So that pattern of over, under is the same, but we're just alternating which side we're working from. So over, under, under. We'll do it here as well. And what I like to do is kind of just use my fingers to push the strings forward. I'll push those loops forward a little bit, just so it's easier to get under. So that way the only string that I really have to wrestle on a stitch is that last one. So gather this blue strand, and now I just need to pass over this green underneath the second green, and kind of gotta wiggle around here, and then over the next purple underneath the last one. And I'll have to kind of feed that through, stitch it through. And we'll pull it tightly together just like we did before. So pulling on the horizontal strings, then you can turn it, pull on those vertical ones, turn it again, pull, turn it, pull. Just kind of shimmy it all together until you get that good kind of like square shape. It might be like a rounded square because we're twisting this thing, but there you have it. You can see that the stitch is kind of offset now because we did a diagonal stitch. And this whole thing is going to start to twist, which is exactly what we want. So now we'll do another stitch, and we're just going to continue doing those twisty stitches. So again, starting from that top left, down to the bottom left. This one folds up to the top middle. This purple folds down to the bottom middle. And then this last one, top right. Fold this purple to the top right. Then starting from the top down, starting from that right side, over, under, and under. Then this one, over, under. Pull it through. And this one here too. Kind of dig for it a little bit. Pull this one through. And you see I have a little twist there, that's okay. We'll just iron it out. And then finish off with the last blue. Over, under, and under that last side. Now I will pull this all tightly together, kind of turning it as I go till it's nice and square. Now, as I mentioned, from here we're just going to keep on making our twisty stitches, and I'll check back in a couple of minutes and show you what we have. Okay, so after a few minutes, we have something that looks like this, and by a few, I definitely mean more than 30 minutes. You can do this while you're like watching TV, or you're going for a walk, or playing at the park, or whatever. But we have our lanyard just about done. You notice that the strings are getting a little bit shorter and more difficult to work with. For some people, that's when they have like 3 inches left of slack. For some, it's when they have 6 or 10. Whenever you want to end this thing, you can either tie a knot. I know plenty of people who will just take 2 sides of the strings, make a little loop and push the strings through and tie a knot like that. And then do one more for safekeeping, or you can tie a knot with all of the strings all together. Whatever your kind of flavor of a finish is, you can do that. So that's how you do the knot. But if you don't want to do a knot and you want to do like a finishing knot, which is kind of more of a like macrame style finish, then I'll show you how to do that. So I'm just going to take this out really quickly. But to do that, you're going to need another piece of string. So pull that out, leave it like this, and gather another piece of string. So I'll just use a little bit of red, and you really only need like 6 or 8 inches of string here. You can do more, absolutely, if you prefer. But I'm going to start with this little piece of string here. Sometimes I save my scrap strings and I'll just use them for finishing. But I'm going to make kind of like a little J, and then I'm going to pinch it. So I have this pinched here, and you'll notice I have like a little loop, and then I have a little tab. So I'm going to take this and I'll just lay this right on top. And I'll just kind of put my thumb so that I have a loop here, I have a little tag there, and I have this longer piece of slack here. And with this longer piece of slack, I'm just wrapping it around the entire lanyard, going around the loose strings a couple of times. Usually I like to go around six times. And then I push it through the loop down here. So I'll take that slack, push it through that loop, kind of hold it there, and then that little tab over here, just pull up on that little tab. Then you can just trim off any extra slack, and there you go. That's how you make the tornado stitch. So thank you so much for watching. Keep blooming. I will see you guys all in the next one.